Okay, I'm just going to briefly talk through E1, which is describe the responsibility of the practitioner in professional relationships. This is about how you as a practitioner relate with other people and what is your responsibility in making sure that those relationships that you create with other people, the children, the staff, your colleagues, professionals outside of the setting and parents, how do you make sure that you make those professional? Okay. So one of the underlying themes that will come up again and again is respect. Okay, you must respect everybody that you work with. If you're going to have professional relationships, there has to be a mutual respect. That doesn't mean that you have to like everybody, because you won't, and not everybody will like you, and that's fine, but there does have to be that underlying respect that allows those relationships to function. Okay, so you need to be able to work with other people whether you like them or not. Effective communication is absolutely key. Now, I've put 4 on the board, and I know that they're not all the same as the things that you did when you did your Dragon's Den. Okay, so they're not all the things that you did on there, and some of these that are on there you didn't do. So that, you know, that's fine. You don't have to use these. I'm just running through them as examples. So effective communication is crucial, because if you don't have effective communication, there can be a breakdown in communication, and it means that people might have misunderstandings, people might act upon information that they have misunderstood and make a situation worse. So if the communication isn't effective, and that's effective in all senses, so it could be that it's written communication. If your written communication doesn't express what you want to say well enough, then you're not going to be able to get your point across, and then people will maybe do the wrong thing. Think back to the stickle brick activity, how important it is to make sure that your instructions are clear, so that the people that you're talking to really understand exactly what it is that you need to get across. Now, for each of these points that you will make in E1, you need to say what the responsibility is. So it is our responsibility as professionals to show respect for everybody that we work with. Then you need to say why. If you don't say why, then you're not really describing it. Okay, so put in why it's important to respect, why it's important to have effective communications, and that's what I'm trying to talk through now. Meeting individual needs is really, really important, and that's not just the individual needs of the children, but that's the individual needs of the parents. Maybe they have English as an additional language, maybe they are deaf and need you to sign or need a signer there. You know, there may be other needs of individual parents that you need to consider when you're communicating with them, or when you're trying to involve them in their child's education and care. It may be that they work full-time. How are you going to make sure that you meet those needs? So you may need to stay a little bit later at school to make sure that you can see the parents at a time that's suitable for them. So meeting individual needs is not just about the children's needs, it's about the parents' needs, it's also about your colleagues' needs. Sometimes we have colleagues who need a little bit of extra support, in the same way that sometimes we may need some extra support. And that's, you know, if we can meet individual needs, it's helping to show respect. Linking respect to this final one is inclusion. How do we make sure that we include all the children in the setting? How do we make sure that we include all the parents? How do we make sure that we cater for people's needs, again, going back to meeting individual needs? How do we recognise diversity? How do we make sure that people, there is equality across the setting? Okay, it's our responsibility to do that. What have you seen on placement that shows that everybody has a feeling of inclusion, that everybody feels like they are part of a community, that they are part of something. Okay, tell me what you've seen, write about it in your E1. Now your E1 only has to be 2 or 3 paragraphs, not very big, with 2 or 3 key points. Now for every criteria, including E1, write a little bit from your knowledge and understanding, put in a good quote to support what you've said, and then refer to your practice, either what you've seen other people do or what you have done yourself that meet some of these responsibilities. Okay, so if you've talked to a parent and you feel that that communication was effective, put it in as an example and say, this is when I showed that I could communicate effectively. Okay, that's it. Hope that's okay.